Hello everyone, this is CJ Novo 982 and today we're back from a brand new video. Today's video we are here to discuss Rangers versus Braga Part 2. But before we dive into this sequel, as always, a quick little shout out to the channel sponsors and the channel legends themselves, OneFootball, whose link is always down there in the description below if you want a wee bit extra Rangers news. Now though, this is usually the part where we dive in and discuss the oppositional preview and I break down some stats, where they stand, how they're playing and what their form is coming into this game versus Rangers. But I done that 6 days ago, which is great for the content. Honestly, that's 50% of the material ripped up and gone. I'm not getting that back in today's video, but instead of just repeating old things we've already discussed, let's actually move forward. Instead of doing an oppositional preview, let's just give an overview on this Braga side as we've all saw them with our own eyes. And if me and thee are just being honest with each other, everything we saw from this Braga team was exactly everything we had heard coming into this game. They were fantastic on the ball, they moved it so swiftly, and they have so much quality from goalkeeper to striker. They are a very, very good side. I mean, the way they were moving the ball on our surface was incredible to see. So confident, even inside their own box, the wee triangle passes. It makes everything that's been said about our surface stopping us from playing at home, that's why we're struggling, all that BS completely irrelevant, because they showed us football can be played on that park, and by God did they play it. But there does need to be a little bit of an update since the last video on Braga, because we spoke about their incredible run, their incredible transformation under Ruben as their new manager, beating the likes of Sporting Lisbon, Porto and top of the league Benfica, being undefeated. Well, that little run right there was halted because they aren't undefeated anymore. Which makes Braga the third team so far this season to come up against Rangers with an undefeated record and been sent home without it. But as fantastic as last Thursday was, and it truly was fantastic, I mean, that's why we all support football teams, to get that type of high that only a football team coming back in that fashion can bring you. It does need to be stated that despite that victory, it is still only half time in this tie, and when you actually look at it, 2 away goals isn't that bad of a result, especially considering the fact that Braga hasn't failed to score a goal at home since Ruben took over as a manager, and that continued just on Sunday there as they came away comfortable 3-1 winners with 24 shots in the game. So unfortunately, I think it's safe to say they weren't rocked with that loss from Rangers. They certainly bounced back, and it showed that in the game on Sunday night. But that's us all going to be done and dusted with the Braga preview. Again, we're not going to dive into the stats or the formation. We spoke about it last week and we saw them play. We know how good they are, and it's going to be on every single one of these Rangers players to rally and rise to the occasion again. And speaking of Rangers, it is now time to focus on what matters most to me and talk about this roller coaster of a season. And right off the bat, let's just get to it the way we discussed how Braga responded to the Thursday night game. They took a loss, they went into Sunday and absolutely battered their opponent. How did Rangers respond after their triumphant comeback against one of the most informed, lethal teams in European football this season? How did they respond to the 3-2 win? By going up to Perth and drawing 2-2 with St Johnstone. How does that happen? Well, I guess having your centre-back gift 2 goals to the opposition and be utterly reliant on the potential impact of a substitute by the name of Kamberi while picking players completely out of form ahead of him is probably a recipe for disaster, and probably explains why we dropped mere points. But as pissed off and soul-destroyingly crushed as I am from the 2-2 draw versus St Johnstone, I don't think you can really bring that in to these games in European football, because the way I look at it, right, and this is just my opinion, you feel free to completely disagree in the comments, we'll have a wee discussion about it, be very interested to see what you say, but I look at Rangers at European football and they have and always have been a much, much better side against better opposition. Every time they come up against a challenge, your Feyenoord, your Portos, your Bragas, they seem to rise to the occasion. Honestly, the better the opposition, the better Rangers playing. Going into this game, we all know Braga will be going gun-ho, especially at home. You thought they were attacking at Ibrox. Wait till you see what they're like at home. But I think the fact that they are going to be under constant pressure from Braga, I think that is going to bring the best out of Rangers. Because the way Braga is going to be setting up in this game, it's not going to give these Rangers players the opportunity or the chance to play that sad, pathetic, passive, backwards nonsense that's been killing our entire season, that just never, ever gets changed. But it's going to be forced to be changed in this game because they're not going to get the time to fanny about and go backwards. That is the real reason we came back, because we actually were forced to play attacking football and move the ball quickly. And when Rangers are actually playing quickly, they look a hell of a lot more dangerous. And I think you've got to give a lot of credit to Rangers Football Club, because since Ruben has took over as the manager for Braga, they are the only team to look dangerous against them. And I'm finding myself going into this game completely nervous and getting mere grey hairs by the second, but equally excited about the prospect of seeing the real Rangers again, and also seeing Kamberi start instead of Alfredo. Now, a few months ago, that statement would have been absolutely ludicrous, and not only because of the fact that Kamberi wasn't a Rangers player, but you get my point. The thought of dropping Alfredo Morelos for a key away European game would be absolutely catastrophic and be unthinkable. But if we're being brutally honest, like we try to be here on the channel, Alfredo Morelos hasn't been himself. Yes, he's had a couple of goals incorrectly chalked off, but if you're looking up our build-up play, he's not holding the ball up well, he's not getting on the ball, he's been forced out wide constantly, he's very rarely inside the box, he looks completely out of sync of the entire squad right now. And when you think of the last 4 games for Rangers, it's not been Morelos that's been linking the play up or holding the ball up, it's been Kamberi for every single second he's been on the park. But it isn't just Kamberi's ability to create chances for others or link the midfield. He showed in that game versus St Johnstone, if you give him a sniff at goal, he is capable of the spectacular, and I honestly think that unpredictability what Kamberi is going to bring into this game could be the key factor if Rangers are to come away with the positive result that we all need. But I do actually find the Kamberi role in this game to be the most fascinating one to look into before the game, because you think of it, right, he's been playing great, but he's been coming in to games with Alfredo Morelos also being on the park, and whether he's out of form and whether he's out of sync with the squad, he still occupies a couple of defenders and creates space for Kamberi, but that's not going to be there anymore. Morelos is suspended. Kamberi's got a chance to start for Rangers, which is what we all want, but it isn't a role he is yet to play for Rangers, and that is to lead the line, and to lead the line versus a team like Braga is a big ask, and it's going to be very interesting to see how he handles it. But moving away from Kamberi and the striker position, as there is another player that is a newcomer to this tie that will be involved tomorrow, and that is none other than Ryan frickin' Jack. And I'm just hoping that Ryan Jack in that midfield can add a hell of a lot more protection than there was at Ibrox. However, with Arfield being the only one out of Davis and Kamara with the ability to pass the ball forward, I don't think you can drop him for this game, because that's usually the change. Arfield out, Jack in. That's kind of how it's been throughout both of their time together at Rangers. But I think Arfield's a must start in this game. I think Jack is a must start in this game. So the question of the episode is, who is going to be the other midfielder in this midfield three? I want to know your thoughts and opinions on that down in the comment section below. Now, normally that would be a very easy question to answer, because you say Davis, Davis, Davis all day Davis. But if we're being brutally honest, Davis hasn't been Stephen Davis now since December, and he's went right underneath the radar because of individual mistakes of others. But Davis is right up there and one of the culprits that's not been performing for Rangers. We keep hearing about him being one of the leaders, but he's not leading on the park with his performances. So I honestly think there is a discussion there. Who should be that third midfielder picked? Is it Davis? Is it Kamara? Is it Joe Aribo? Is it a change of the old style? What's your thoughts and why? Me personally, as much as he has disappointed me for the last couple of months, it is going to be Stephen Davis, because he is capable of being the guy at Rangers. He showed that throughout the majority of his career. He's gone for a wee bit of a sticky spell right now, but with the lights are on, this could be the moment Stephen Davis re-emerges in this midfield of Rangers. And now, after all that, you might be thinking to yourself, CJ, you've not jumped to the Rangers press conference. Usually that's the first thing we do, but I'm going to be honest with you, I'm done and dusted with the press conference, right? I've heard enough. I've heard quotes, I've heard nice statements, I've heard this, I've heard that about Rangers, and we're going to be better this time, the reactions. I'm done and dusted with the press conferences, so instead of wasting anyone's time hearing the same old stuff we've heard over and over again now for the last 7 weeks, let's actually dive straight into the Rangers team news. Now, Morelos is obviously suspended. We've already discussed that in today's video, but the big question mark for Rangers going into this game is Barisic. Is he fit? Is he going to miss? Because that right there is a key position in this game. Well, the update I've got to give you as I'm currently recording today's video is that he has an outside chance of being involved in the game tomorrow. Now, there's been pictures and there's been videos showing he is training ahead of this game, so I think even if there's an outside chance, as they say, of him being involved in the game tomorrow, I'm pretty damn sure that they will put him on the park because of the importance of this game. So I'm pretty sure you will see Barisic tomorrow. The other two main injuries in the squad are the two that's already well known to us. Jermaine Defoe and Big Helander are still 3 to 4 weeks out. And with that being said, that is the team news, that is the preview and the overview of the Braga squad wrapped up in a neat little bow. Now all that's left is for me and thee to get their prediction ons out there. It is a massive game for Rangers, so what are you thinking? Now you know a little bit more about the fixture. While you guys are getting involved in sharing your opinion, I'll give you mine very, very briefly. I'm expecting my arse to do some exercises tomorrow. I'm expecting back and forth. I'm expecting drama. I'm expecting fireworks. Like all sequels, it's usually up in the old ante. However, I am going to go with my heart and I'm going to pick Rangers to come away with a 2-2 draw. And now that me and thee have had their say, let's jump over to Twitter then and hear from the people. There's already been 1,472 votes. Thank you so much for getting involved. 18% votes for Braga. 36% of the people votes for me and goes draw. But the winner with 45% of the vote is a Rangers away win. God, I hope he's alright. Now the first one comes in from Ewan McKenzie and he writes in Rangers 2-1 win. Hadji and Kamberi with the goals. Faraz Akram writes in shitting myself 1-1 Kamberi to score. Jordan writes in 1-1. See us just sitting in and hitting them on the break. Kamberi to score. Well, they do play a very high line. That may be a tactic we see tomorrow. Jude writes in 2-1. Absolutely bricking it. Kamberi and Hadji to be the goal scorers. Come on, the Rangers. Mark Mitchell writes in 1-1 to see us into the next round. Rab Ross writes in 2-1 to Rangers. Back to the wall. Ride their luck and score on the break. Kamberi to steal the headlines. I hope the man's right. Michael McDonald writes in 2-1 to Rangers. Would happily take a draw in the Europa League and Scottish Cup is all we have. Now, Rangers only writes in we'll take a draw 1-1. Logan also agrees with 1-1. Says, think we'll miss Morelos even if he hasn't been great form recently. Stevie B writes in 2-1 to the famous. Believe it or not, I'm confident of a victory tomorrow. Have we learned how to beat them? We should have after the last game. No excuses. 100% required from everyone. Jay simply writes in 2-1 to Rangers. Blue Rangers writes in 1-0 to Braga. Bryce writes in 1-1, not confident but hoping for a good result. And the last one we'll read it in tonight's video. We'll go all the way down to the bottom and we'll stop right here. And it comes from Philip Ewan McGregor and he also writes in 1-1. Kamberi scoring it, Kent assisting it. I'd like to see us win, but as long as we go through. Well, there it is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. You've heard from the people. You've heard from myself. If you haven't done so already, you know what to do by now. And as always, I've been Siege and Over 92. Thank you so much for watching and bye.